Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more Los Angeles Lakers news, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. At the moment, players can only be signed if they are free agents or through a buyout. There are rumors that Chris Paul will be available and it will be essential for the Lakers to bring him in as the sixth man. Chris Paul has enough quality and experience to help the Lakers become champions. Chris Paul has never been a champion and could be with the Lakers. For this to happen, he just needs to be bought. Strong rumors, Chris Paul will play for the Lakers. The Lakers could improve their roster and acquire Chris Paul if he is bought out by the Spurs. The Los Angeles Lakers have spent years flirting with the idea of bringing Chris Paul to Hollywood, but the timing has never quite worked out. Now, with the San Antonio Spurs shifting gears after a devastating setback to Victor Wembanyama, the door might finally be open for CP3 to don the purple and gold. San Antonio made a bold move by acquiring De'Aaron Fox before the trade deadline, signaling their intent to become a legitimate playoff team. But with Victor Wembanyama now shut down for the season due to blood clots in his shoulder, the Spurs suddenly find themselves in an awkward position, too talented to tank naturally but not competitive enough to make a real playoff push without their franchise star. That makes Paul, who was brought in as part of the Fox deal, a prime buyout candidate. The 12-time All-Star no longer fits the Spurs timeline, and if he becomes available, the Lakers should waste no time making a move. Paul has been linked to the Lakers for over a decade, dating back to the infamous vetoed trade in 2011. Now, at 39 years old, he may not be the superstar he once was, but he remains an elite floor general with invaluable playoff experience. Adding him alongside LeBron James and Luka Doncic would give the Lakers another high IQ playmaker, stabilizing their offense while setting the stage for one last super team run. With the Western Conference wide open beyond the dominant OKC Thunder and possibly the Denver Nuggets, this could be the move that finally makes the Lakers true contenders again. Let's dive into why this works out for all parties involved. It took over a decade, but Chris Paul might finally get his shot to wear the purple and gold. The future Hall of Famer was nearly a Laker in 2011 before David Stern infamously vetoed the deal, and since then, CP3 has remained one of the biggest what-ifs in franchise history. There were even countless banana boat mock ideas that would see LeBron James pair with close friend Chris Paul when the King first came to the Lakers. Now, after bouncing around the league in the twilight of his career, Paul might find himself in LA through the buyout market. With the Spurs now shifting focus after Victor Wembanyama's injury, they have little reason to keep a veteran like Paul on the books, $10,460,000 in 2024-25, making a buyout feel inevitable. If that happens, the Lakers should pounce. Even at 39, Paul remains an elite playmaker, averaging 8.0 assists per game this season while recently passing Jason Kidd for second all-time in assists and steals. Paul, 9.0 points, 3.9 rebounds, 35.33 PT%, won't be the all-NBA version of himself, but he doesn't have to be. His job would be to set the table, control the tempo, and take pressure off LeBron James and Luka Doncic, both of whom will shoulder much of the offensive load this season. With Jackson Hayes and Alex Len as the team's current lob threats, CP3's arrival would instantly elevate the Lakers' pick-and-roll attack. The biggest question will be durability. Paul has battled injuries in almost every postseason run of his career, and asking him to play major minutes deep into the playoffs is a risk. But in a limited role with LeBron and AD taking the lead, he can maximize his impact while minimizing his workload. The Lakers don't need Paul to be their savior, they just need him to be the missing piece that elevates them from good to great. The Lakers have never been shy about chasing big names, and adding Chris Paul could be another step to forming a super team after the biggest trade in NBA history that brought them 5-time All-Star Luka Doncic. The franchise knows that LeBron James' career is closing fast, and if they're going all in on one last title push, they need some big names to accompany him and the brilliant Doncic. Rob Pelinka has already shown a willingness to shake things up mid-season. Cutting Christian Wood to sign Alex Len was a clear sign that they're retooling on the fly. If Paul joins the mix, don't be surprised if the Lakers continue making moves to add even more firepower. Time is running out for LeBron to be part of a championship side, so the Lakers can maximize his presence before the full rebuild around Luka begins. They're currently in the thick of the Western Conference playoff race with the 4th seed, 34-21, but standing pat isn't an option. If the franchise wants to give James a legitimate shot at title number 5 while also showing Luka that they can make big moves to keep him satisfied for the rest of his career, adding Paul is a step in the right direction, and it could be a missing piece for them this season as the lineup becomes complete. A starting lineup of Chris Paul, Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Rui Hachimura would be excellent in a small ball scenario, but JJ Redick could even opt to bring Paul off the bench to give James and Doncic a break with handling the ball. With Paul, the Lakers can gear up for a deep playoff run with plenty of experienced leaders. San Antonio Spurs tank the season until Wemby returns. The Spurs entered the season hoping to take a step forward, with Victor Wembanyama leading the charge. They even doubled down on that idea at the trade deadline by acquiring De'Aaron Fox, a legitimate star point guard to help Wemby develop and win games. But with the devastating news that Wembanyama is out for the season due to blood clots in his shoulder, San Antonio's entire trajectory has changed overnight. Instead of making a playoff push, their best bet now is to lean into the tank and set themselves up for the future. With Fox locked in as their long-term point guard, there's no reason for the Spurs to keep Paul on the roster. CP3 was never a part of their plans beyond this season, and his presence only takes developmental minutes away from younger players. Cutting ties allows the Spurs to prioritize their future while doing right by a veteran who still has title aspirations. More importantly, offloading Paul helps them rack up losses, which is now the smartest strategy with Wemby sidelined. A top draft pick in 2025 could add another foundational piece next to Fox and Wembanyama, making the Spurs even more dangerous when their generational big man returns. It's an unfortunate turn of events for San Antonio, but not a disastrous one. Wemby's long-term health is the biggest priority, and while losing him hurts now, the Spurs are still in an enviable position moving forward. ESPN analyst suggests optimistic ceiling for LeBron James-Luka Doncic pairing. Saturday's victory over Denver opened some eyes. The Los Angeles Lakers provided a glimpse of what the LeBron James-Luka Doncic pairing is capable of looking like as they dismantled the Denver Nuggets on Saturday night. Doncic exploded for 32 points while James added 25, and each player filled up the stat sheet to notch a road statement win against a team many believe will prevent the Lakers from advancing deep into the Western Conference bracket. Los Angeles is now currently 4th in the West with a very realistic shot to move up to the number 2 seed if they continue to play like they did against Denver. With plenty of time to gel and establish roles going into the playoffs, plus the very basic notion that playing against 2 all-time players is something no opponent wants to do, it might be worth reconsidering the ceiling for LA. Alan Hahn gave voice to why this could all work on Monday's Get Up. You could argue that Luka might be the better fit with LeBron than anyone he's ever played with, including Dwayne Wade, Hahn said. Wade didn't have the perimeter game that Luka has. They were both clutch, they both certainly knew in the big moment. But the passing ability that Luka brings could unlock a little more of LeBron even at this age. That all sounds great. And it might be true. James won a championship along Kyrie Irving, 2 alongside Wade and 1 with Anthony Davis. He's proven he can make it work with a lot of Robins. For the first time in his career, it might be time for someone else to put on the Batman costume. Again, it was one great game and there's nothing to do right now but overreact. Hahn's take, though, seems fair and cannot be dismissed in terms of its significance. Lakers player drops blunt take about playing alongside LeBron James. Luka, four of the biggest Oscar snubs of all time. The video player is currently playing an ad. The Los Angeles Lakers have gone 2-1 since the All-Star break came to an end. The first game was a disheartening 3-point loss to the Charlotte Hornets. However, the Lakers responded with wins against the Portland Trail Blazers and a massive victory over the Denver Nuggets, both of which came on the road. The new Luka Doncic-LeBron James pairing has been fun to see, and the two combined for 57 points with 19 rebounds and 12 assists in Saturday's win over the Nuggets. On Monday, Lakers forward Dorian Finney-Smith spoke to reporters about the LeBron-Luka pairing, and he had a hilarious admission. Finney-Smith revealed he's getting butt-naked wide-open shots playing alongside the two, per Jovan Buha of The Athletic. Los Angeles Lakers forward Dorian Finney-Smith reacts during the second half. Gary A. Vasquez-Main images Gary A. N. Vasquez-Main images Finney-Smith, who came over to the Lakers in December via a trade with the Brooklyn Nets, has been playing heavy minutes. Since Doncic made his Lakers debut on February 10, Finney-Smith has scored a total of 29 points, although 10 of those came against Portland as Doncic sat out in that contest. On the year, Finney-Smith is averaging just 7 points per game in 20 games with the Lakers, although he had 12 in the loss to the Hornets on February 19 with both Doncic and James in the lineup. Finney-Smith also revealed he is rushing his shots and needs to take his time, per Jovan Buha. The Lakers next face off against the Dallas Mavericks, Doncic's former team, on Tuesday night in LA. J.J. Redick's Luka Doncic message before Mavericks. The Los Angeles Lakers are preparing for their first matchup against the Dallas Mavericks since the blockbuster trade that sent Luka Doncic to the Lakers and Anthony Davis to the Mavericks, amongst others. The highly anticipated contest will be played in Los Angeles at Crypto.com Arena on Tuesday night. With Davis is out due to injury, the focus will primarily be on Doncic for this game. The Slovenian superstar is fresh off his breakout game with the Lakers, supplying 32 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals and a block in the blowout win against a familiar Western Conference foe, the Denver Nuggets. Los Angeles Lakers guard Luka Doncic, 77, copyright Christopher Hayne-Winkleman images and #169, Christopher Hayne-Winkleman images. The Mavericks will be shorthanded, being that Davis remains out due to the abdominal injury he suffered with the Lakers before re-injuring it in his debut with the Mavs. Not to mention, they will also be without the impressive center duo, Daniel Gafford, grade 3 MCL sprain, and Derek Lively 2, right ankle stress fracture. Ahead of this game, Lakers head coach J.J. Redick had praise for his new superstar when talking about his ability on the court. "Part of what makes him brilliant is he makes the game easy for everybody else," Redick said of Doncic. J.J. Redick on Luka Doncic, "Part of what makes him brilliant is he makes the game easy for everybody else." This commonly known trait of Doncic's is one of the best abilities of his new superstar teammate LeBron James. The Lakers now have two primarily ball-dominant playmakers who can easily spread the floor and get teammates wide-open looks as they look to ascend up the Western Conference standings. Although the main attention will always certainly be toward James and Doncic, the third and fourth options for LA have also been playing well. Final Luka, 32 points, 10 reb, 7 AST, for STL Braun, 25 points, 9 reb, 5 AST, 3 BLKAR, 23 points, for reb, 7 AST Rue, 21 points, for ASTPIC.twitter.com/QRPI quantity 3GI, Los Angeles Lakers, at Lakers, February 23, 2025. Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura have established themselves as high-level role players, serving as important complementary pieces to James and Doncic. This season Reeves has averaged 19.2 points, 6.1 assists, and 4.3 rebounds, while Hachimura has averaged 13.4 points and 5.3 rebounds.